So the tension between a society invested in girls losing their voices or silencing an honest voice and girls' desire to live with integrity in relationship to themselves and to others by keeping their minds connected to their bodies, by connecting their thoughts with their emotions, and by insisting on speaking for themselves in their relationships, or as Anne Frank put it when she said, if I were to be quite honest, when they, as she does, reframe what initially she had described as a problem of herself. She had been called, quote, little bundle of contradictions, and as she said, I have, as it were, a dual personality. When she says, to be quite honest, she reframes what had she herself had described as a problem with herself as what she experienced as an insoluble problem of relationship, how to be herself and also be with other people living in the world. But as the psychoanalytically minded, many of you among us would say, it's not for no reason that connection is in crisis. To put it simply, human relationality poses an obstacle that must be suppressed or stunted or come to be regarded that is seen as lesser, which in patriarchal terms means associated with women and gendered feminine, in order for the various hierarchies of oppression and injustice to continue. And what this means very simply is, though, it's not that gender is more important or takes precedence over race or class or what, but gender is the mechanism. I mean, it is the lever, it is the linchpin of an initiation that has as its requisite a sacrifice of relationship. I mean, just think, Abraham and Isaac, Agamemnon and Iphigenia. I mean, the sacrifice of love for the sake of hierarchy is made in the name of gender. That is, where children, to become a, quote, real boy or one of the boys, or to become a good girl, not a bad girl, not one of those girls who no one wants to be with. It was the girls' work then that touched a deeper nerve, that provoked a response that took all of us who had been involved by surprise. The research had showed that what was conceptualized as development was more accurately seen as a process of initiation, and more specifically, an initiation that the healthy psyche resists. It was in writing about what girls were up against that I saw the need to introduce the word patriarchy into my writing about development, because that was the society, the order of living, with its gender binary and hierarchy, that was creating the crisis of connection. And as I began to explore more directly the connections between, I have to get to the end now, childhood and society, life history and history, I became acutely aware that patriarchy in privileging the voices of fathers is in tension not only with democracy, which rests on a premise of equal voice or equality, but with human nature and human development. And thus the potential for a resistance which is not ideologically grounded, but rather comes from our basically who we are as humans.